Hi Taurus, this is your horoscope for April 2017. Thanks for joining me. From the 3rd of April until the 22nd of April, we have the Sun in Aries conjuncting Uranus in Aries. And both of those are in your 12th house of spirituality. So there's a real sense of spiritual strength here and a real sense of self-reliance and a feeling that you can take on the world and you can meet things head on, you can overcome obstacles. There's a sense of self-reliance, there's a sense of power. If something comes up, I can handle it. I'll deal with it. So there's no fear here. This is really positive for you. It really gives you a boost internally in terms of how you feel about yourself. And spiritually, you get an A star with a little gold star on top. You really feel powerful and able to deal with problems as they arise. Now, April has a lot of planets going retrograde and coming out of retrograde. So on the 5th of April, we've got Saturn going retrograde, and it stays in retrograde until the 25th of August. So ages and ages and ages. Saturn is the head teacher of the chart. He's the energy that really forces you to look at your life and what it's like and what you would want it to be. So if you're totally off track, it can often feel very difficult, especially during people's Saturn returns, which happens 3 times in life. And that's really when Saturn is at its most powerful. But when it goes retrograde, it's less harsh and it enables you to review the decisions that you've made in the past, whether those have been good or bad. And it also allows you to review the structures that you have in your life already, where you live, what your job is, who's in your life, and to look at that and see if you're happy with it or not. And then gently to look ahead and to make new decisions and to put new structures in place for the future if you do want to make changes. So this retrograde, so this kind of April to August period is a gentle reminder to look at your life and to make changes, and it feels very supportive. From the 9th of April until the 3rd of May, we've got Mercury going retrograde. And Mercury is the planet of communication. It is in your sign of Taurus. So it will affect you. The stereotypical association of a Mercury retrograde is that computers stop working and that phones don't function properly and that letters get lost and contracts are drawn up incorrectly and all of that kind of stuff. Communication can become more difficult and it can become stifled during a Mercury retrograde. It is in your first house of self, in your sign, so you particularly are going to be affected by this. It's in place from the 9th of April until the 3rd of May. So if you are signing contracts or if you are buying a house or something like that, just make sure you're double checking everything and that things are as they should be, and deal with the problems before and don't leave it until later. Okay, so you can still, the thing is, you don't have to stop living your life. You can still do things, but with Mercury retrograde, it just means that there's room and the possibility for error and mistakes. So just double check things. On the 11th of April, we have the full moon in Libra. That is in your 6th house and it's sitting right on top of Jupiter. So this is really good news for you when it comes to your day-to-day routine, your physical health, and what I really think there's some sort of positive shift in your daily routine, whether it's at work or within your family or the people who surround you. There's some positive shift which builds a bridge between you and another person, and it really is something to celebrate. It's like a new friend or it's something positive happening. You'll be really pleased around this time of the full moon. I'll make a separate video to go into much more detail on the full moon here on the 11th and the new moon, which is on the 26th, just to go into more depth. But as far as you're concerned, Taurus, this is positive relationship-wise. On the 15th of April, Venus goes direct. So that's really good news for you, Taurus. Venus is your ruler. While it's been in retrograde, it's been difficult to really make good decisions when it comes to romantic relationships. Now that it's out of retrograde, that becomes much clearer, and for you to take action in those areas is much easier, so go for it. Also on the 15th of April, Mercury and Uranus start to conjunct each other. Mercury, remember, is in retrograde in Taurus in your 1st house. Uranus is in Aries in your 12th. So that's going to give you a huge sense of drive and a desire to move ahead in terms of creating security for yourself, creating abundance and prosperity for yourself, making progress in work. That's all very good, but remember that sense of drive is now connected to this almost faulty Mercury. So some of the decisions that you're making may not be the decisions that you would make under normal circumstances. So again, even when it comes to things like, for instance, expanding the business, let's say to another country, you're going to invest in taking the business to Europe or whatever, then really look at that idea and that decision. And if it feels overwhelming and I've got to do this, then that's a red flag that that's probably a mistake. If it feels exciting but calm and consistent, then go with it. It's Mercury in retrograde will try and trick you into doing things just really, really quickly, which then has long-term effects on your life. On the 20th of April, Pluto goes retrograde. And Pluto is in your 9th house of learning and education and travel and growth in the sign of Capricorn, which is the worker. So what this does for you is that this retrograde lasts from the 20th of April until the 28th of September. And it's inner illumination. It's enlightenment. In the tarot, this would be the hermit. It's shining that light of truth onto the self. And in your case, it's going to tell you what it is you want your life, what direction you want your life to go in. Location-wise, in terms of what you're working on, in terms of how you see yourself growing and expanding, those are the themes that you're really going to have a clear understanding of. Finally, on the 26th of April, we have the new moon in your sign of Taurus, and now it's your birthday, so happy birthday, Taurus. But this really is your first major birthday present here. There will be more to come in the month of May, but the new moon is when the moon pulls in lots of energy and is pulling in your energy. So you will feel super, super comfortable in your own skin. You'll feel energized, you'll feel powerful, you'll feel like you can overcome anything again. It's a real blessing. So this is a wonderful day for you in terms of your life, in terms of your hopes and dreams being realized, coming true. So really take a risk on this day. That said, Mercury is still in retrograde, so if you are taking risks, double check the details and the figures that those are right, and then go for it. But this is really a wonderful way to finish this month of April and to slide into May on the right footing. So I hope you have a wonderful month. If you would like a private reading, I can draw up your birth chart by looking at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. And then I can put these transits around your birth chart and see how these things are affecting you specifically. If you'd like me to do that, then visit the website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order the reading. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, and I'll speak to you next month.